Happy Friday, everyone. It is Friday, the Friday after Christmas. I hope you all are enjoying your break if you're on break, and hopefully traffic and work is not too busy because it's holiday and most people are off. So happy Friday. I am glad that you are here to join us. And today we have our special guest. I am so excited about this conversation. Mrs. Tina Green. Tina, say hi to the people.
Hi, people. Good to be here.
So I'm really excited about the conversation. When I originally reached out to uh Tina, my initial thought was one of the things that I have on my list of things that I'm believing God for is people with wisdom that can help me, like, that can speak to me because of the experience that they've already had. You know, we all have wisdom in different areas and different places, but we don't often like take the time to like reach out to people that have more experience, more wisdom, more stories to tell. Just because they've lived longer. And so I am so excited for today. And so, again, this is the Transformational Intelligence Academy Virtual Summit. And all things that we're talking about this week over these next 12 days is about transition, whether we're transitioning from whatever, from one place to the next. And so, the conversations are just flowing and they're so amazing. So, Tina, if you could start with just telling us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the conversation.
Okay, great. I'm Tina Green, and I like to say I am a country girl. That's me. I was born in the hills of West Virginia, and have been in the DMV area since 1998. Yeah, I think that's right. But still am a country girl at heart because I was raised that way, where you went and borrowed sugar or flour from your neighbor next door. You didn't lock the doors at night. It's a very small town. It's changed now, but that's the way it was. And I used to be in the corporate environment and for almost 20 years, and I did not like what it was turning me into. Because I had to, particularly as I was in insurance and I was usually the only Black female in the space. And so I thought I had to assimilate and be like they were. So unfortunately for me, God has always had to kind of force me out of situations, make it so uncomfortable. It's like, oh no, if you don't move, I'm going to move you. And so literally walked the main job I had, literally walked off of it one day and just said, now you'll have my resignation at the end of the day. I'm not coming back. And that continued through a few other insurance companies until by this time I got married and told my husband, you got 5 years to take care of me because I'm not doing this anymore. That was the plan. And it happened. So I became a personal and private chef because I've always enjoyed cooking. I grew up with church mothers in the kitchens of the churches. And so I did that and still occasionally do it for special friends and family. I have a little, what I call my side hustle, where I do baked goods, and I still make old-fashioned desserts. I said, no, if you want a cake with decorations and fondant and all, no, that's not me. If you want a good peach cobbler, that's
Yes, me. Come on, peach cobbler.
Yes, if you wanted some yeast rolls or biscuits, that's me. But yeah, so no, that is stuff I don't do. But for me, the thing I want to talk about when we talk about faith and transformation is there came a time, actually around 2022, after pandemic, I had a lot of loss in pandemic. My husband lost his parents. I lost a sister. Then I lost another sister. And I felt like I'm done. I've done, Lord, everything you asked me to do. I'm just going to now sit here and I don't know, do nothing. And God spoke to me one day and said, who told you you were through? And I was like, what do you mean? I said, come on now. I've done everything you asked me to do. And he's like, who told you were through? He said, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to go to seminary. Now, I've been a licensed minister since 2016, was first
Mhm.
called to ministry back in 1997. And that is actually how I end up in Maryland because I didn't want to leave. And God said, okay, I'm going to have to move you. And he
Mhm.
moved me to Maryland. But I've never, this was not about pastoring or even, like I said, a platform or having a large ministry or anything like that. But he said, I want you to go to seminary. I want you to go. And he chose the school, Regent
Mhm.
University, and I'm still getting my master's in Christian ministry. But the thing about it is because I always thought it because I'm like, I don't want to know what man says about you. I want you to tell me
Mhm.
about you. But I have, he picked the right place because I have, first and foremost, I had a spiritual formation class and learned a whole new definition of what that means and what grace means.
Mhm.
Because I'm one of those kind of black and white people. I don't
Mhm.
see gray areas. I don't. I'm like, listen, you can talk to me till you blue in the face, and I'm just gonna be like, no, I'm sorry. This is the way it is. No, you can't convince me. No, this is the way it is. And I have come to understand. First part of my transformation is that everyone's not like me.
Mhm.
Everyone's not like me. Everyone doesn't see things the way that I see things. Everyone doesn't interpret things the way that I do. And
Mhm.
so I have had to learn how to give grace to
Mhm.
people, which really is the love of God. Like I said, when I talk to people, I give people with the word. I'm not beating you up with it, but I'm like, you have to have some foundation, something, and whatever it is for you, I'm okay with that. But for me, it is God, it is Jesus Christ, it is the Bible, the Word of God, and my foundation is that John 3:16 that
Mhm.
everybody knows, even whether you're a Christian or not. If you go to a football game, you know John 3:16, and that He so loved the
Mhm.
world. That means everybody.
Mhm.
That He gave His Son, and
Mhm.
so that was the first thing. And then the second thing was he told me, I want you to start a nonprofit. And
Mhm.
he took me to Titus 2. And Titus 2 talks about older women training, teaching younger women
Mhm.
how to be women and women
Mhm.
of faith, women of purpose. If again, if you are a Christian, you know about the Proverbs 31 woman. She
Mhm.
was an entrepreneur, but she ran her household well. Her
Mhm.
children called and her husband called her blessed. All the things, everything I believe in life is found in the Word of God.
Mhm.
And so with that, I have been in this transition period since, like I said, 2023.
Mhm.
2024, my whole theme has been clarity on a lot of things that I did not have clarity about. 2025, he has not given me a word yet, but I know that he will, and I think a lot of
Mhm.
it um, has been because of this wonderful summit. And before I go forward, I want to thank Dr. Lavanya Douglas. I want you all to understand this woman and I do not know each other. We do not know each other. We've never met. And she contacted me and I was like scratching my head, like, what? Are you sure you have the right person? Because my heart is I want all women, not just Black women. I want all women to come together. Because my mantra is we're better together. I
Mhm.
believe that most women don't understand their worth, their value. I don't think women understand their function when as it relates to their male counterparts because it wasn't that we needed to be like them or replace them or become them. It was that we were to influence them.
Mhm.
Because if you go back to the garden, Eve even though she was the one that was deceived, she was able to influence her husband to take of that fruit.
Mhm.
And when God came, he didn't look at Eve, he looked at Adam because he had spoken to Adam.
Mhm.
And I think women don't understand that. The old adage, behind every great man, there's a great woman.
Mm.
There's truth in that
Mhm.
because we rule and we don't even realize that we're supposed to rule not behind the scene, but we're supposed to rule just by leading, just by
Mhm.
guiding, just by influencing. We're not supposed to be the ones out there. We're supposed to be lifting up ourselves. We're supposed to be
Mhm.
lifting up men. And unfortunately, um, I don't know about anybody else, but I was raised by a grandmother who said you can do bad all by yourself and all that. So she didn't, even though she, her husband, she was a widow, but I don't know, and I don't know anything about their marriage, but she wasn't a man basher, but she was ahead of her time. Let's just say that.
Mhm.
But but no, we're to compliment. We're
Yeah.
to
So
compliment.
you said so many great things. I have so many questions. Okay, so I want to go back just for a quick second, then we can come back.
Okay.
You said that you were called to ministry in 1997. How did you know that? How did you know you were called into the ministry? Because I think a lot of times in this day and age, it's like everybody's called, but like it's like people ordainin themselves. So tell me how you knew, like you were called to do what God called you to do.
Okay, but let me explain. Like I said, I was raised in a small town in West Virginia, southern West Virginia. In West Virginia, the state does not, I was Baptist,
Mm-hmm.
and they do not recognize women in ministry.
Mm.
I literally, and I mean this,
Mm-hmm.
because I can see it today like it happened then, literally was awoken by this Holy Spirit, and God spoke to me audibly, gave me an
Mm.
open vision, and said,
Mm-hmm.
what he said was, "Are you serious?"
Mm.
And I was like, "What?" And he repeated, he said, "Are you serious?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Yes, Lord, I'm serious." And he said, "Well, I want you to teach my word. I want you to learn my word. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to teach my word. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to proclaim my word." And I was like, "Okay, but Lord, you know where I'm at." And, they don't recognize, because I believe, again, because I believe Bible, I believe in fivefold ministry. I
Mm-hmm.
was not called to pastor. The fivefold ministry gifts are prophet, apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, and teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I was called to teach.
Okay.
So long story short, I went to my pastor at that time and I told him, and I explained to him what God had shown me and what he had said to me. And he said, "I think you misunderstood.
Mm.
Go back and pray about it some more." And literally it started from January of 1997
Mm-hmm.
until in December of 1997, because I would not leave. I would not
Mm-hmm.
move. I actually set myself down because I was like, no, if I can't fulfill God's will, then why do you want me to teach your Sunday school? I was
Mm.
teaching, I had taught all the way up the line, little kids, the nursery, all the way up to adults. I was actually at that time an adult teacher. And I said, okay, but I can't be recognized. And so I set myself down, and he took offense because he thought I was, trying to buck. And I was still saying no, because I just saw the vision, and the vision
Mhm.
was me at that church in that pulpit. And so God literally had, even though I had much counsel and people were saying, "Honey, you can't go over to leadership. You can't do it." And there were other churches I could have went to. I said, "No." He showed me this place, and I truly, to this day, this particular pastor has passed on, that God wanted to reveal something to him that
Mhm.
he just was not willing to
Mhm.
admit. And it was not about being a pastor. I mean, he recognized. Uh, Prophetic gift. He recognized, gifts of healing, everything. But that, when it came to a woman in his pulpit, that was a
It was
no-no.
not happening.
And
You know.
so God had to move me to Maryland. I
Wow.
got promoted on my job, and I, and from that point, I was hurt. And so it took time. But finally I, found a place, a safe place, and
Mhm.
did my initial sermon. And
Oh, I
yeah,
love that.
yeah,
I think, there's still churches in 2024 that don't believe in women preachers.
yes.
And
Whole denominations that do not believe
yes, like the
in women in the ministry.
because of the rules and the traditions, like it's like that ministry is not going to be all that God has called it to be because of the traditions and the rules and this and the bylaws and all these things. So it's like there's all these stipulations that hold it down. It's like, where's that in the Bible? And so yeah, so I was curious about that because I think a lot of the times people too are called into ministry and they like, no, I'm gonna just support the people, right? Like I'm just do this thing over here, not recognizing like, no, like what you have is a gift. Like I remember recently I took the spiritual assessment, uh
Hmm.
and I was like, there's a whole spiritual gift for administration. I don't like
Absolutely.
administration, right? Like I don't, but I see the value in it in other people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, listen, and listen. Now I tell people, this is a gift, right? Like you have a gift. You have a gift that you need to share with the world because everybody is not good at that. And I need you to just not see it as a lot of times people see it as a glorified secretary. And it's like, no, this is a
Mm-mm.
gift. You have a gift of organization. You have a gift of creating spreadsheets and doing all those things. Like
Details,
embrace the
details,
detail,
all the
like
details.
embrace that. Because all of us are out here squirreling around because we see all these visions and we need somebody to help us to bring it together.
Absolutely.
Um, so I wanted that. So I want people to like really connect to what are their purpose? Why are they here? What is their purpose? And like not minimizing who they are because someone else tells you what you can or shouldn't do because of their own mental model, not because like this is the way God wants it to be. Like so.
Yeah,
Um,
and I believe, even like I said, even for people who aren't Christian, who don't have faith, I believe because
mhm,
of the Word of God that all of us were made in His image and His likeness, and because of that, every single person on this earth has purpose.
mhm,
Every single person on this earth is uniquely made. I'm in
mhm,
my office in Psalm 139:14. It says, "You are beautiful because you are fearfully and wonderfully made." The Bible says that He knows the number of hairs on your head, He knows the
mhm,
number of little grains of sand on the seashore. He knows you. So
mhm,
through life, whether you are a Christian or not, you have to find within yourself, because I believe God speaks to everyone,
mhm,
even if they don't accept Him,
mhm,
their purpose, what
mhm,
He has in store for your life, what that purpose and plan is. We quote Jeremiah 29:11, where it says that, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you, and I have a purpose and plan for good things. And I'm paraphrasing, but it is God knows you, and
mhm,
it is one of the things that I have found is that even myself, being, like I said, my age is 62, it took a lot of years for me to do a lot of self introspection, a lot of self examination, because I have a tendency to want to just block things out. you
mhm,
know, Again, all the traumas, all the things that didn't go right, I don't want to think about them
mhm,
because I, I thought of myself as a good girl, you
mhm,
know. So I tried to be that good girl, which ended up being an adult who was a people pleaser
mm,
and trying to make everybody happy but me. So I think that you have to, whether it is, you know, connecting with someone, talking to someone, having a therapist, having a counselor, having a pastor, having a really good friend that you trust, be able to talk out what really is your passion.
mhm,
Because I went into the business world because I had three mouths to feed, and I was like, okay, I have to step up because I have to
mhm,
provide for these children. And so And I did that until they became of age. And I was like, okay, now I can pursue what I really
Mhm.
was meant to pursue.
Yeah.
And so I would prefer the people not do it like I did it and spend their lives really focused on what really gives them joy, what really
Mhm.
gives them purpose, what really
Mhm.
gets them up in the morning. So, get their juices flowing. And so, it is, to try to get somebody to talk to that would just give you, I don't even want to say wisdom, it just give you some, hey, just can I share what I've gone through
Mhm.
so that you don't go the way I did. You don't have to
Mhm.
do the hard path. Life is hard by itself without
Mhm.
trying to complicate it,
Mhm.
further. So,
Mhm.
because no matter what anyone says, life is hard.
Mhm. One thing you said,
Parenting is hard.
yeah.
It is.
One thing you said that stuck out to me is that um I love my job. I
Okay.
love my job all the way up until I left. Um and so a lot of times when you know what you're called to do, it's not going to be easy. I was in my job for 22 years. It was not easy, but because I was so focused on the why that I was there, I was able to deal with the hard times. And then it was same, similar situation, a little different, but God was like, "All right, girls, time to go." And I was like, "No, no, no, I can't leave the people. I'm here for the people. Like, I can't just leave my people." And he's like, "Girl, go and bring your people with you, right? Like, don't just stay, right? Like, there's a whole world out here waiting for you. Go, go, go. You know how they say, what's the build it and they will come. Go build it and
Yes.
then bring the people. Don't be just stay stuck." And so, like, I didn't know. Like, I love my job because I love helping people. I love creating, helping people live to their maximum potential. And so I worked in law enforcement, probation and parole. So we were helping people that didn't always have the best situations to like live better lives. And so when they would write you the notes, they would come back afterwards and saying how much you impacted their lives. It's like, oh, this is why I'm here. And so then later in my career, I started working with developing the people that was helping the people. So it was always about development of people. And because that was always my focus, I was able to deal with the hard times. But if you can start at an early age, at knowing what you're called to do and knowing your why, and really not like just following the rules of go to college, get a job, retire, right? Like, no. You when you said earlier about like I was like, who said you was done? I was like, I'm gonna work till I'm 115. So even when I talk to the retirement people, listen, we're not having a conversation because I'm looking to go to the beach in 57 because I'm going to go to the beach next year, and I'm gonna go to the beach every couple times, right? Like, so the goal is not to retire because I'm gonna live to be 115 and I'm gonna work until I'm 115 in different capacities. But I'm not looking to just sit around. I got too much to do. And so if people would have that mentality of like, I'm going to do whatever he tells me to do until he tells me to do something else, like, and it's there's a peace in the storm because like, okay, I'm supposed to be here and all things are going to work out. It's going to be just fine. Where we going? What I'm gonna say? This person is crazy. They done lost. Who they talking to? Are they talking to me? Like, I've had those moments, and but you learn how to communicate. You develop a different skill so that you can help other people develop skills. Because there was times that I was like, I might need to go take boxing classes because these people have lost their mind. Who they talking to? So, but yeah, so that's what I was thinking about as you were talking because I was like, we need to create the spaces to help people find their
Yes.
purpose, find their
Yes.
passion, ask the right
Yeah,
questions.
but I think that's a part of the piece, though. I think a part of the piece is really learning how to communicate. Now it's getting different. I see in my children and probably you and your age group that it's easier for you all to do have communication skills. When I was growing up, it was that children are to be seen and not heard.
Mm.
Grown folks were in the room having a conversation. You
Mhm.
what go outside and play. So
Mhm.
you did not have that skill set to know how to really voice your opinion or your ideas or your dreams or your hopes or your
Mhm.
fears. And so, and I think particularly in the Black community, that's
Mhm.
really prevalent because we are we are giving so many um I don't know what am I trying to say? So many ways that we should be. You know,
Mhm.
we I mean it's in our history, it's in our culture as African Americans that we have been told we are to be a certain way. We are told that we're supposed to act in a certain way. We're supposed to do
Mhm.
certain things. We can only do certain things. You know, it's that whole, and not to get into politics, but that whole good black job thing. You know,
Mm.
so it's hard for us
Mhm.
because I'm of the time saying that I don't know if integration was the right answer
Mm.
because I can still remember having a very proud Black heritage where you had Black doctors and lawyers and professional business people and teachers and everything that taught you and you know gave back to you in the community. That's who you went to, so you did not hear um you know you can't do this. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not as old as when you know there was segregation, but you know my aunts and uncles were, and talk often about the clashes that happened when
Mhm.
integration came, and so you know we need to form our own identity, and I don't think that we've done a very good job at it. We've
Mhm.
either felt like we've had to totally assimilate and be who we are not,
Mhm.
which to me, a lot of it I see in um, how we try to, particularly women, and I'm not, listen, y'all, I am for anybody doing anything that makes them feel better about themselves.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
I've just never been a girly girl, and I you know
And that's okay. That's
I'm
okay.
not into all that.
That's fine.
But when I see, but well, I'll give you an example. AI, and I'm a Facebook junkie, and I remember one day going on Facebook, and it's been a while when I guess when AI really started getting popular, and my sister had put on a post of her AI image and it freaked me out. And
Mhm.
I called her and I said, "Don't do that." I said, "Don't." I said, "You are beautiful as God created you. You do not need to enhance anything. You don't need to
Mhm.
remove one wrinkle. You don't need to do any of that." I said, I don't, and I still hate it. I don't like these AI generated, this is how I'm supposed to look in, 20 years or whatever. And I'm like, baby, no, no, no. What
Mhm.
happened to you being just, I grew up, I loved Maya Angelou. I loved um, Toni Morrison and Natasha Shange and Nikki Giovanni. I mean, these, oh, I can't even think of her name. Angela, that, do you remember one that was the militant? Angela Davis. I'm
Mhm.
like, come on now. These were, in my mind, just proud Black women who knew their African roots, where they came from, very self confident, very self assured women. And they didn't need all of the Whoopi Goldberg. I give her her
Mhm.
props because Whoopi is Whoopi. And she
Mhm.
doesn't try to be like anybody else. And like I said, I'm not trying to rag anybody, but when I look at, well, I won't even name names.
I'm about to say, don't name them.
No, I'm not even gonna name names, but just certain women who I'm
Yeah.
like, baby, just do you, be you. That's not you. That
Mhm.
image that you're trying to create, that's not who you are. Be who
Mhm.
God created you to be. And that's one of the things that I'm about. It's like, no, I want you to realize you are unique. You are
Mhm.
special.
Yeah.
You do not have, you do no. You. You don't have to do all the things. You
I don't
really
think we hear that enough though. We don't
don't.
hear that enough.
No, we don't.
And I think that there's so much comparison. We're not promoting people being their authentic selves. We're promoting different things, and because what's promoted is what is like accepted, right? Like we talked earlier this week about the status quo and like
Hmm.
people just going with the flow and not like rocking the boat too much, because they don't want to. You talked earlier about communication and how we like learn the skills. And earlier this week we had Dr. Veronica on here, and she was talking about life languages and how to recognize who we are. It's like we have these new resources, and but it means that people are gonna either have to they're gonna have to rock the boat. They're gonna have to do some self-reflection. They're gonna have to not just say it's my way or the highway. It's not going. We're not gonna be able to just tell the babies to go outside and play because they got all these resources and skills that have taught them how to communicate and how to show up as themselves. Um, and so there's like so many mixed messages. So I want to come back to your foundation because I
Hmm.
think a lot of the things that we're talking about is the vision for what you've created. And so can you share a little bit more about the things that your vision for the foundation and what you want to do?
Okay, I would love to. Nana's Foundation, what God gave me again is Titus 2, older women teaching younger women. And the thing is, we need, I'm not saying we need to go backwards. I believe in progress. I believe in moving forward. But I remember when growing up, you had the neighborhood mamas, I had second mamas, I had second grandmamas, I had aunties all over the place, and you got away with nothing. And you had church mamas who would tell you if you came in church and you was a little like you had been out the night before, they'd be like, baby, you can't do that. They would counsel you. They would tell you things. And we have gotten now to the point where we have adults who don't want you speaking anything to their children. We've got, women who just don't, they're defiant and no, I'm going to do it my way and all that. No, let me show you a better way. And
Mm-hmm.
in love, not being judgmental, even though I will admit, my daughter tells me all the time, she said, Mama, sometimes you can get too preachy and you come off being judgmental. And I'm like, I'm really trying to fix that, but I realize I have to stay in my lane, and that's why I need others.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can speak to a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old, but I believe I can speak to a 40 or a 50-year-old. I believe, and I had my 92-year-old aunt staying with us, who, even though she drove me crazy, would give me wisdom. So
Mm-hmm.
the idea of Nanas is to bring together generations of women who will support each other, encourage each other, help each other. I want to bring together all of you wonderful women who've got these for profits that are life coaches, that are business coaches, that are spiritual coaches, who are holistic practitioners, who are therapists and social workers and teachers and entrepreneurs and business professionals. I want you all to partner so I can say, bring the women in who don't know their purpose, who are
Mm-hmm.
floundering, who are even teenagers who are like, what am I supposed to do? And give some guidance, give some encouragement, give some support, and say, as a foundation, as a nonprofit, we're going to go out there, we're going to research, we're going to find grants, we're going to find donors, we're going to find corporate sponsorships that will help pay for services for people that
Mm-hmm.
they, so that way they don't have to take out of their budget
Mm-hmm.
to gain the resources that are available. I told you when we were off air, I feel like I have found my people. I have found some women who understand we need to work together. I truly believe this. And like I said, my foundation is not a Black foundation. I want it to be inclusive, diversified. But I truly believe that we, particularly as Black people, don't know how to bond together like we should, because again, historically, we were set up against each other when we were from our lineage, when we came over to America, we were automatically set up against each other. And because of that, there has always been what I call that house mentality and that field
Mm,
mentality. And
mhm,
I'm like, no, 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 no. We need to come together. We're all, the Bible talks about we are all one body, but many parts.
mhm,
Many parts. We all have something to offer. There is not a single person on this planet that doesn't have worth, value, something to offer. So I want to get resources to people. I want them to know, baby, we're here to help. We're trying to build you up. I want to build your business up. I want to send you clients. I want you to be all that God has created you to be. If you're going to be CEO somewhere, then hey, we want to support that
mhm,
business. If you want to open up a black bank, then we want to support that business. I believe in supporting black business, and I've had some mixed things with that, but I still believe in it because I remember the time that that's who you went to. And so we're better together, and we need to pull everybody together because again, we've seen how the enemy has come. We hear about like Black Wall Street. We hear about the different um, organizations and communities that tried to rise up and how they were dispersed and destroyed. But I believe, because I do believe, and I'm sorry for anyone who's out there, but I do believe the greatest fear that our congregation partners have is a strong Black community. And
mm,
I'm like, I tell my son, I tell all my nephews, every Black man, you are the most feared person in America, which is why they're trying to incarcerate you, eviscerate you, hold you back because they know if we would just, all have to remember our history and where we came from. We were kings and queens. We built civilizations. All the things are true. We can't go, I mean, there's no point in talking about going back to Africa. We're here and we're here for a purpose. And we're here because we're supposed to help subdue and dominate this land. And so, I mean, again, I don't want to talk about politics, but you look at what happened with Kamala. It's the same thing. It's that fear that's, I don't know where it comes from. I really don't, but I pray about it because we need to understand again, we're better together. We are better together instead of being apart. I'm not jealous of you and what God is doing for you. I know when even God gave me this, I was like, well, God, there's organizations out there that are doing what he said, but they're not together. They're not. And so that's me. I just want to be, like I said, that resource hub that says, okay, I'm going to spend all my time trying to raise funds so that I have it so I can help support you all. Um, my part in that is, again, I'm Bible. So if you want to learn Bible, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. I don't have a problem. But I'm like, I'm going to teach you what God says, and I'm going to teach you what I've been through experience. But we need to learn how to come together and have conversations, real conversations. There are people out there. I think of Roland Martin and Tavis Smiley, and we see what they tried to do to Tavis, um, the Noah kid. All there. We we just don't know who we are. We don't know how powerful we are. And I want that to change before I leave this earth. I'm purpose that will change. That will change. We will not have a negative stigma on
mhm,
Black people for the rest of our lives.
mhm.
That has to stop. It has to, we have got to have, we don't need presidents that are going to call us thugs and call us, or call all Black, brown people that they're criminals. No, 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 no. Mm-mm.
We have to create, what I hear you saying is we have to be the change that we want to see. And we
Yeah.
have to teach. I think we also have to create the space where we show people that you don't have to compete. We
Yes.
have to show people that there is a way to communicate. We have to show people, you know, there's a way to show up too. right? There's a way to be responsible. There's a way to, learn how to have conflict and have conversations and not fight it out. Like, we have to teach them because they weren't taught, and because they
Yeah,
don't know, we have to create the spaces where we make it safe for them to learn. We make it safe for them to mess up, not be perfect, but also teach them the way to go, the way to communicate. All these different things, like you just mentioned, all these different resources. It's almost like we have to train them before we send them out. Like,
absolutely.
we have to
Absolutely. I
show
mean,
you.
we have to, and like I said, not say this with all humility.
Mhm,
I was a single mom.
mhm,
And I'm sorry, I did it like it shouldn't be. But here's the thing. I knew that I could not teach my son how to be a man
mhm,
because I'm not a
mhm,
man.
mhm,
Um, I had to give him mentors. I had to give him places. Now, to be honest, he's still floundering, but I still know there was a foundation laid there.
mhm, mhm,
We have gotten to the point where we need to have black male teachers. We have
mhm,
to have um, black male coaches and mentors and business people and people that they can identify with, people
mhm,
who came up through the ranks, people who know what it's like to live in the hood, that
mhm.
know what it's like to live in a project, that know what it's like, to want so much, but we don't know how to get it, you
Yeah.
know. And that means, like I said, like you said, it falls back to we need to talk.
Mhm,
We need to come together and talk. We need to come up with strategies of how to change a whole generation.
mhm.
Because now we've got phones and computers and everything. And literally, I'm looking at my, grandkids and they're on the hip and they're on their phones all the time. And it's like, how do we put the phones down and talk to one another? What can I do to make you feel that it's okay, it's safe? You can tell me, because to be honest, my kids will tell you I did not do this with them. I did
Mhm,
not I did not give them that space where they could come to mom and say, Mom, I gave them a lot of expectations, as far as school and their education and how to behave and all of that. But as far as them being able to come to me and say, Mom, I'm scared, or Mom, I'm having trouble, or Mom, there's
mhm.
this issue going on. I'm one of those that, to be honest, because I didn't have any training. I was like,
Right.
da, 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 I don't want to hear, no, 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 I don't want to hear that. I don't, no, no, no. You want to have sex? No, 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 I still have a
I
question
don't
for
hear.
it. I don't hear that. And I also have a short attention span because, like I said, if you talk to me for a while, I tell people all the time, it's Charlie Brown. If you ever seen a Charlie Brown cartoon where the
Mhm.
adults are saying wah 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 wah. Well,
Yes,
after a while,
yes.
you talk to me, I'm like, I have zoned out. My husband will tell me. He said, you stopped listening about 10 minutes ago. I said,
But
you're
but the thing about that though is there is a, even in communication styles, like when you start to learn the person and how they communicate, I need to get to them. I need to give them, they got 2 minutes, and I need to get to the point. So when, again, this is a learned thing, like same thing. I'll be in a training and I'm like, they have lost me, right? Because my brain, and so we have to create trainers that speak to all the brains, all the
yes,
learning styles, and
yes,
so many resources that we have out there that we can help create those spaces. We can teach parents, even like what you're saying, like you can say you have experience with, okay, it didn't really work out for me, but listen, there's a better way, and let's talk about why it's better. Let's give you the rationale behind why it's better. Let's give you the research behind why it says that this is a way that you can build relationship and rapport and communication with your children, because it's out there. So it's like
yes.
we have to teach people, because they're not teaching us in school. Let's be clear, they're
No,
not teaching us about purpose and passion in school. They're not teaching us communication skills. They're teaching us math, history,
English.
science,
Hmm.
like, but they're not teaching us life skills. And if we do, it's like one class. And
Yes.
so there needs to be a class on purpose. There needs to be a class on, you know, like legit. You have what do they have in school where they have where the parents come in and say what they did, whatever whatever
Yes,
that
yeah,
it's
the
today.
career
It's a
day or
one
whatever.
day.
Mhm.
One day. But it's like, no, like let's have a continuous purpose finding course throughout. That's not an elective. That's something that you have to take. So let's create that course. Let's create that course and put it in foundation for people to bring their children.
I see. I'm with you. I'm all for that. That's the whole point. The whole point is, yes, you need, your kids are, you feel like you're about to explode or and go off on your children, and you need some help. Let us be a resource. Come to us. If we need to let you take a break, find a babysitter to sit with your
Yes.
children while you
Mhm.
go and get a massage, or
Mhm.
someone just talk to you, make you laugh, just zone out, whatever you need to do. That's what I'm about. And I know in my heart of hearts, I know this, that
Mhm.
that is what God wants me to do. It is to bring people together, because we're better together. I can't do
Mhm.
it all by myself. I have learned, like I said, even this week, I have been so encouraged. 'Cause I'm like, yes, there are people out there who feel me, who
Mhm.
are willing. And yes, and I do understand. I don't have a problem with people. Listen, I'll pay good money for good service. I
Yes.
don't have a problem with that at all. I'll
Mhm.
pay you what you're worth. I really will. But if you don't have it, or if you can't budget it in, then I want to be that resource where I can say, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. And I got somebody for you. So
Mhm.
let's do that. I want to have the whole thing about my nonprofit is that this is not about, I don't want to be a Red Cross or something that yes, pays the CEO $1 million. No.
Mhm.
I want the funds that are brought into this, and that's why everyone that I'm connected with, I'm telling them, yes, we'll support you. We'll, funnel clients to you. We'll do all that. But as far as us, if you're going to be connected with this, for
Mhm.
me, it's ministry. I'm calling it a foundation. It's a nonprofit. Yes, I understand it's a business. I've got a business degree. I understand how businesses work, but
Mhm.
we're not, at least until God tells me differently, this is totally altruistic. When you were having the conversation yesterday talking about serving versus volunteering, it is so much that it is, I want people who have a servant's heart.
Mhm.
I want people who have a servant's heart. Yes, we'll take the volunteers and we'll work you for as long as you want to work. And when you're through with it, then okay, you can leave. But I
Yes.
want who I was so pleased that every woman that I've seen that you have talked to, even though, like I said, you've got businesses, you are trying, to be prosperous. I believe God will do that because
Mhm.
of the heart of the people, the heart of the women that I saw.
Mhm.
What I
Mhm.
saw this week was women's hearts.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, I mean, I can feel it now. It's like, oh, yay. See, they have hearts. I mean, yeah, Lord,
Mhm.
we'll make sure that they get paid, but they have a heart. They
Yeah.
want to see change. They
Mhm.
want the world to be better in what they
Yes.
do. They want people to have a knowledge that they're not getting, like you said, in the school system. And
Mhm.
and I don't know. I'm torn about that. I tried teaching for 3 months, and I was like,
Well,
Title
yeah,
Title
because
One school. I was like,
we got to figure out
no.
a creative way to make it happen because the way school is set up now, I
Yeah.
don't think it's set up for none of us. Because the kids is a little rowdy and
Hmm.
yeah,
It's
no,
broken. It's a broken
it's
system. It
mhm.
is,
So
unfortunately.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have you written the vision that you have
Yes.
for? So you have like a list of all the things and all the
Yes.
people and all the resources. I love that. Because if the Bible say write the vision and make it plain,
Yes.
right? And
Absolutely.
so
They may run with it.
so I believe all like there's purpose behind even the summit and the
Yes.
connections that we're all making and like
Yes.
it's purpose behind it all. And so I'm loving it all. And so
Yes.
one of the things that we like to do is when we talk about transition and we talk kind of about the conversation that we've had today, what are some tangible things that people can do, whether whatever's coming to your mind when we think about transition and the things that you had to do in your life as you've transitioned? And I think we're all always still in a place of transition. Like we've never
Yes.
arrived. Right. We've
No.
never arrived.
No.
We've just transitioned from one thing to the next and we still keep going, right? And so what would be some words of wisdom? Because you have wisdom. Okay. You have expertise. So
Yeah, well, and you already talked about this week, but I did. I wrote down four things.
okay.
One you already talked about, and that's examine your motives. See, I think that's
Mm,
very important. You have to know what motivates you,
mhm,
whether it is, and I'm like saying it's I'm an altruistic kind of a person. I'm a giver.
mhm,
That's a gift. My husband will tell you I'll give away everything if I could, if he'd let
mhm,
me.
mhm,
But you need to examine your motives. What is your desire?
mhm,
What is it that why are you doing what you do? That why,
mhm,
you talked about this week too.
mhm.
Um, the second one was celebrate your wins.
Oh
And when I
yeah.
say celebrate your wins, it is the small things. It doesn't have to be, oh, I got a promotion or I got an increase on my job. No, the little things. I celebrate every day I wake up. I'm like, oh,
Mhm,
another day. Thank you, Lord. So
mhm,
celebrate your wins. Celebrate,
mhm,
just whatever it is. And I mean, every day you should celebrate something that you have done,
mhm,
whether it is not cursing for the whole day.
mhm,
You
mhm,
know, um, the other one is be you. And I know that for some people that's hard because people, unfortunately, we live in a time that they don't know who they are.
mhm,
But drop the mask. Stop trying to be who you're not, someone else, or who you perceive you should be. Because
mhm,
again, when I was in the corporate world, that's where I felt like I had gotten. I had gotten to a place where I was like, you are trying to be who you're not. You're
mhm,
not that girl. You're not that hardcore, unfeeling. I'm not the most empathetic person. I'll say that, but I'm not. I'm not what they wanted me to be. So
mhm.
I was always kicking against the bricks. But the last thing is, and I really do mean this because particularly when I thought about you, when God spoke to me about this, and it was learn how to rest.
Mm,
We all need to take. I take a day,
mm,
sometimes 2 days, but like I said, I'm a bit older. But if you just take an hour to do nothing, let's put
mhm,
on a good piece of music, just zone out, just eat some ice cream. That's another one of my things. Something that just brings you just complete joy. Take
yeah.
some time. When I was a kid, I still do. My husband gets on me. I love to be barefoot. I love summer rains.
Mhm,
That thing. Just look at nature, whatever it is, but take some time to rest.
mhm,
You know, you know, I call it my Sabbath. I spend time with God. I let Him speak to me, soothe me, calm me, because I can be a little manic, like you
mhm.
said, doing all the things and
All the
bouncing
things.
off the walls. Woo, I got another idea because I've got to the place where whenever I have an idea, I have to write it down. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Lord, get out your phone and write it down. But so it's like, yeah, but take some time just to
Mhm,
rest.
mhm,
Do a Netflix binge. There's
mhm,
nothing wrong with that.
mhm.
Whatever it takes, whatever that just makes your toes curls, do that. You
I
know,
love that. That's
you
so
need
good.
to do that. Everyone needs to do. You need to take some time for you,
Mhm,
and I think it's very important because in this world we get so busy and we
mhm.
want to do so much. I know I do, and I know. I listen, girl. I'm not going to claim the hundred and whatever you said that you claiming, but I know that more. There's more of my life behind me than that
Yes.
in in front of me, and so I try to find some that peace, that solitude, and at just for a few minutes every day.
Mhm,
There's a great app. I use it. It's called Abide. Um, where you just meditations, just
Mhm.
affirmations, whatever it is that'll just take you and center you and calm you. We all need to take time to do that.
Mhm.
Just take a little time to do that.
I love that. I'm gonna take more time to rest because
Yes, yes,
because I'll
yes.
be on 1,000 all the time. I'll be texting my friends. I get on. She'd be like, "Can you put it in a Google Doc and share it with me?" But enough
That
already.
sounds like my kids. My kids said, "Mom, text us not to write a book. Don't write us a book. Pick
Like
up the
enough already.
phone. Do something else."
Like just and so like even my like I'll be like, "Oh, you should do this," and I'm like, "Stop it, stop it, stop it! Don't give me another assignment. Don't ask me to do another thing. Stop it." I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry, but I need somewhere to put all this." So they're like, "Write it down, but stop. You're doing too much." So yeah, I'll finish what I'm doing and then I'll save it for later.
Yes,
But yeah,
yes.
so this was such a great conversation. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
I'm excited for what Dana's Foundation is going to do and all the lives that's going to impact, because your motives are pure, your intent, and you have a heart of service, and you can hear it when you talk. And so I just know that it's going to be amazing, and I am here to support you in any way that I can, because I truly 100% believe in the vision and the mission of what you're creating. So thank you so much for coming. This is
You're
an amazing
welcome.
conversation. We've had a lot of stuff also happening in the chat. Veronica is on fire.
I
So
saw her. That's what I said. Yes, girl. I actually did the one.
the free assessment.
Yeah, but I didn't get anything back. So I don't know if I did something wrong or what. But I was like, oh, this is so cool. I like this. So I'm gonna have to do it again or something. So yeah.
Well, yes, and for all the people that register, I'm going to put all the contact information, so you'll be able to also get her contact information, so you can reach
Yes.
out to her. So, but this was so good. Thank you so much. We
Yes,
will
you're
see you
welcome. Thank
all
you.
tomorrow for another session. Tomorrow, we're actually having a conversation with a therapist. We had talked earlier about therapy and how that is beneficial. She's actually my former therapist, and she is absolutely amazing. And so I'm like, come talk to the people.
Yes.
So yeah, so this was great, and we will see you all tomorrow. And Tina, we will be in
Yes,
touch.
I hope so. All right. Thank you.